Hey everybody, Spencer here again. This time it's on a Saturday and taking the opportunity to do one of my second look videos. These are really fun to do. I love breaking down new comics for people, but I also really like taking a look at some of my back issues or graphic novels that I have in my collection and giving them a second read. Try to fit those in between some of my new comics books, or no, my new comic videos, or just when I go to the comic book store for new books. So trying to work these in. I want to tell people right at the front that if you're enjoying watching the videos, please please subscribe to my channel or share my videos out to other people. Definitely want to try to get some more eyeballs on these, but I'm really enjoying doing the videos for people. So this week we're going to take a look at Batman and Robin Eternal. This was a bi-weekly series that DC put out a few years ago, I think around 2015. So right at the tail end of the New 52 era. Some really fun stuff. It was a story that was masterminded by Scott Snyder and James Tynion IV and a small army of writers. Ed Brisson was one of those writers. I know now he's doing some great stuff with the X-Men. Batman and Robin Eternal is a really fun story. It focuses primarily in on the Robins. Batman is kind of taken off the board for the series due to some of the stuff that was going on in Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's run. So this issue focuses primarily on Dick Grayson, Tim Drake, Jason Todd, and eventually Damian Wayne, and it is just a blast. So I really want to recommend it for fans of the Bat family, especially. I love Batman, but for me, when the character is at his strongest, it's when he's surrounded by this family unit. And so it's really fun. I think sometimes there's a tendency to think that all the Robins are alike. That you know, Dick and Jason and Tim and Damian, they're all just Robins and they're interchangeable. And one of the things that I really enjoy about this series is that it really digs into each of their personalities and shows you how they're different. That each of them approaches the job a different way. The way that Jason Todd Red Hood does things is very different than the way that Tim Drake does things as Red Robin. But they bring those unique skills to the table, and when all four of them are working together, they're pretty much unbeatable. There's just some really cool stuff in here. I think another thing that I really enjoyed as a fan of 90s Bat titles or early aughts was seeing some of those characters that have not been around, that were not around in the New 52. So I was really excited by the debut of Cassandra Cain. She's been appearing in Detective Comics ever since. She's also going to be in Brian Hill's upcoming Batman and the Outsiders series, which is great. For people that don't know Cassandra Cain's whole deal, she is basically trained to be one of the most elite fighters in the DC Comics universe. And basically she views violence and fighting as a language. So she's almost unbeatable because she can read her opponent's moves and figure out how to best counter them. But at the same time, she's also got this very innocent side to her. She's just a really cool, complex character, and it was too bad that she was put on the shelf for so long, but it has been great to have her back, and this series was a big part of what brought her back. You want to show off some of the artwork in here. That page that I just showed was from Tony Daniel, who did a few issues and did a few phenomenal covers. Just really fun stuff there. This is a really touching moment. It kind of shows the beginning of the Cassandra and Batman relationship there. She was trained to be a weapon. She was trained to kill, and I think what's really awesome about her as a character is that she rises above that programming, and also that Batman serves as this role where he will forgive her for crimes in the past because she was innocent. She didn't know any better, and her resolve to be better and to be a hero is something that I think is really inspirational. So I really appreciate how this series, while updating her origins for the New 52 era, really stayed true to the core of the character. I think that if you enjoyed her series back in the 90s, or if you enjoyed some of her appearances in the aughts, you'll really enjoy this as well. So I definitely recommend it for that reason. For most of the series, the Robins that are featured are Dick Grayson, Nightwing, or at the time he's just operating as Dick Grayson, Tim Drake, Red Robin, And then Red Hood, Jason Todd, who was the second Robin, was killed and resurrected. And he's sort of like the bad apple of the Robins. But he's really fun, too. So I really enjoy that. Tim Seeley did some writing on the series, and I especially seem to really enjoy the issues where Tim Seeley was writing Jason. But one thing that's great about Damian Wayne is that he knows how to make an entrance. This is from issue number 20, so he was only in about 7 issues of the series, but he really does know how to make an entrance, and he provides a different approach too. In some ways, he's sort of a blending of the different Robins. Dick Grayson is your carefree, great detective, good fighter, kind of jack of all trades. Red Hood, Jason Todd, is a little bit more reckless, a little bit more sarcastic. Tim Drake is probably the most analytical of any of the Robins. And then you've got Damian, who's just sort of a melting pot of those different characteristics. So really great stuff here. And I think for fans of the different Robins, it's just fun to see these characters interact for 26 straight issues. Just a lot of fun there with the character interplay as well. I think another thing that's really great about the series too, in addition to bringing back Cassandra Cain, it also brings back Azrael. So Azrael, people might remember him from the Nightfall story. He was the replacement Batman, but then he went on to have his own career as the costume hero Azrael as well. And so this series also brought him back into the mix. He appeared in Detective Comics as well the last few years, and then I believe he's going to be in the upcoming Justice League Odyssey book as well. So if you want to see some of those old toys get put back into play, Batman and Robin Eternal is a great way to do that. There's some phenomenal art in here, especially when you consider that the book was done on a bi-weekly basis. I talked about Tony S. Daniel before. This is the last cover, or this is the cover to the last issue. Just really phenomenal stuff. And by the end, it's basically anyone and everyone that's involved in the Bat family. So you have Barbara Gordon, you have, spoiler, Stephanie Brown, also another character that was great to see brought back. You have Harper Row. You see the different Robins from the We Are Robin title. And then eventually, no big spoiler here, but eventually Batman does come back. And I just absolutely love, this doesn't really spoil anything about the story to know that the 5 of them are working together at the end. But there's just a great line where Batman, it's the very end of the book. I'm not giving away really any plot details here, but Batman says, "This sounds like a job for Batman and Robin." One of them says, "Which one?" And Bruce says, "All of them." And you have him and all of his Robins, really him and his family out working together, which is not something that you see a whole lot. So I had a great appreciation for this story upon reread. I remember really enjoying it, but there is something nice about not having to wait in between issues and eating it and reading it piece by piece by piece, but really just diving into it, reading the whole thing at once. So this is me recommending Batman and Robin Eternal. Look for it. I believe it's in trade collections. I don't know if it's all collected in one trade or in multiple. So look for it at your local comic book store, or you can check online as well. Definitely would recommend it. And check out the great work that these creators are doing on other titles. James Tynion IV right now is working on Justice League Dark, which is a really fun book. Scott Snyder's on Justice League, doing a phenomenal job. And even though Tom King didn't write in any of Batman and Robin Eternal, definitely would also recommend Tom King's Batman series. So again, Batman and Robin Eternal gets the thumbs up. Definitely something to check out for you Bat fans. And remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Hey, thanks everyone. Have a good weekend. Bye.